Republican Obamacare replacement plan. Press Secretary Sean Spicer saying today that the president may have been having a little bit of fun in that moment, but that he still believes there's a willingness to get something done. Of course, given that that bill couldn't even get a House floor, any new legislation would probably have to have some support from Democrats. Of course, they unanimously opposed the Republican plan. Joining us now to talk about this and more, the minority whip of the U.S. House, Steny Hoyer, Democrat from Maryland. Congressman, thank you for joining us. Let me first ask you what you make of what the president was saying there about health care. He's back to saying, hey, it's easy, we can get it done. Is there any scenario where Democrats would be interested in sitting down and talking about it?
Look, he said it was easy during the campaign. He said he was going to do it in the first days of his administration. He still has not submitted a bill to accomplish what he has told the American people he wants, and that is everybody has insurance at a lower cost and better quality. I've said if he has a bill like that, send it down, and we'll be very receptive. But it's not easy. It is complicated. He was right at that point in time. And clearly, his party is a deeply divided party on this issue. But one of the things I want to make sure he doesn't do, and I hope he doesn't do, is undermine the Affordable Care Act's operation on behalf of the American people right now. We need to continue the cost-sharing subsidies. We need to continue the personal responsibility to have insurance, and we ought to expand Medicaid in the states that don't have it. The states that have it have 7% lower costs on increases in premiums. So I hope the president takes those steps first, and then we're certainly willing to talk about how we make the Affordable Care Act work better, or to accomplish what the president says he wants to do, health insurance for everybody.
Let me ask you this, though. Do changes have to be made? The president basically said last week, when this bill was sort of abandoned in the House, he said, look, we're basically going to let this thing die. We're going to let Obamacare die, then the Democrats will have to deal with us. Lindsey Graham calls this the collapse and replace strategy. Do you think that if Republicans just leave Obamacare as it is for several years, for the length of Trump's term, maybe even if he got it a second term, would Obamacare survive if nothing was done, or do changes need to be made?
But excuse me, Mr. Trump doesn't mean nothing's going to be done, in my opinion. And what I'm hopeful that he does not do, or Dr. Price does not do, as they've intimated they might do, is to take steps to undermine America's health care and make Obamacare not work because of their actions. The CBO has said it's stable, it's working, it's accomplishing the objectives. Is it perfect? No. But the fact of the matter is, it's working. And if the Trump administration does not take actions affirmatively to undermine America's health care that they have through the Affordable Care Act, it will be okay. Can we make some improvements in it? We certainly can. Would we be willing to work with President Trump on that? Yes, we can. But we ought to make the Affordable Care Act better, not undermine it. And that's what I'm fearful the administration might do, so that their assertions that it's failing would, in fact, be made to happen by their actions.
Let me ask you a bigger picture question here, sort of a strategic question for Democrats in Congress over the next 18 months. You said, look, you would be willing to talk with President Trump on trying to approve the Affordable Care Act. But realistically, when you talk to Democratic members, when you see these polls that show Donald Trump's approval rating with Democrats, favorable rating, 3%, something like that, when you see those marches, when you see tens of thousands of people out there saying, not my president, things like this is your base. These are your voters. Realistically, is there any room for Democrats on Capitol Hill to sit down with this administration and try to compromise?
Look, I think Americans want the Congress to do things that help them get jobs, help them keep their health care, help their families succeed. And if the president is willing to come forward with efforts that we think do that, then certainly we're going to talk. But what he's done so far has been very negative for the country. very negative in terms of his working with his own party. They had a tremendous failure last week. They said they had a bill to replace. It was a bad bill. It would have made health care in America worse. It would have made health care more expensive, and 24 million people would have lost their insurance. My base is angry. I'm angry, frankly. I'm very disappointed with this president. But my responsibility to the people I represent and to the country is, if we can do things that are positive for the country, positive for our people, make our country more secure, more healthy, better educated, well, then certainly we have a responsibility and an intention to cooperate in achieving those objectives. But very frankly, all we've seen over the last 5-6 years is negative activity on behalf of too many of the Republicans, and that will be met, obviously, with opposition. We're coming into a period of time now where we need to fund government. We have 10 days left to go, and the Republicans still haven't come up with a plan to do that. So that they're going to need our help on doing that, and we're prepared to do that if they have a responsible alternative.
All right. Steny Hoyer, Democrat from Maryland, the minority whip in the House. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.